Hey, here are 5 stupid things I've noticed about Noah's Ark. Gathering the animals. Is there any better example of how fundamentalism ruins the Bible than the story of Noah's Ark? As a myth, as a fairy tale, it is top-notch. But when religious folks who interpret the Bible literally start insisting that it's 100% historically true, everything powerful and interesting about it is lost. When you're told that you have to accept that all of this stuff actually happened, the absurdities and inconsistencies start sticking out like sore thumbs at a twiddle-dickin' party. For example, how did Noah get all those animals together? How did he obtain animals from Australia or from the Americas? How did all those animals get back to their original habitats after the flood? And how did Noah know he'd gotten them all? Did he have a checklist? Was God keeping track? Keeping the animals. And what the fuck did Noah do with all those animals once he had them? The biblically established dimensions of the ark are 440 feet long, 73 feet wide, and 43 feet high. Even if every available cubic inch inside that ark was devoted to storing those animals, it's impossible, but not every cubic inch of space inside the ark would have been devoted to storing animals because Noah and his family had to stay somewhere. They needed someplace to store all the food they would need to keep those animals alive, and they would need to have enough space to establish separation between the animals because many of them would have been carnivorous predators and many of the others would have been natural prey for those predators. And they would have needed space for something else too. Waste disposal. There are 3 main things animals like to do: fuck, eat, and shit. And you know, now that I think about it, fucking would have been a big problem too. They would have had to keep their breeding pairs from breeding right there on the ark. But what did they do with all that shit? Think about it, surrounded on a boat by thousands and thousands of animals, and I'm being very, very conservative on that estimate, eating and defecating all day long. The question isn't how'd they ever find the time to shovel all that shit overboard. The question is, how'd they ever find the time to do anything else? Water, water everywhere. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before I worry about how the animals got there or how Noah's family was able to care for them during the flood, I should account for the flood. Where did all that water come from? 40 straight days of global rain? Enough water to flood the entire planet for 150 days? That's a hell of a lot of water. The typical dumbass biblical literalist explanation is that all that water was sitting above the sky, as we read about earlier in the book of Genesis when it describes God separating the waters from the waters. But if that's where the water came from, what happened to it when the flood waters abated? Because we know it didn't just go back up above the sky. See, we've sent astronauts into space, and they've, looked. So what happened to it? And something else about that water. Why'd God use it to murder everybody? Worldwide genocide. Yeah, I know. The world was wicked and everybody had it coming, even the babies. That seems to be the fundy position. Fine. Even if I grant you that every single person on the planet was irredeemably wicked, why did God have to drown everybody? A few chapters after the flood narrative in the book of Genesis, we read about how God dealt with the Tower of Babel by confusing the languages of all the people who built it, which means that he has the power to change people's minds, which means that he could have made anybody good no matter how wicked they were. Which means that he didn't drown everybody because he had to, he drowned everybody because he wanted to. Which means that I could never, ever be a Christian even if I believed every single word of this story and the rest of the Bible was 100% true. In fact, especially then. The hardest part is only picking 5. Catch you next time.